Today's video, we're going to be taking a look here at the upcoming pattern. There is plenty to talk about, of course. We do have a huge shift upcoming in the pattern where we mostly have that activity shifting from the west to the east. We had been dealing with weeks and weeks and weeks of activity primarily being in the central plains and south central United States here. This is going to begin to all kind of work its way eastward. Obviously, there isn't much happening right now in that area, but it's all going to kind of spread eastward, and we're going to see a lot more activity in the east than we've been seeing. It's been relatively quiet compared to normal, actually. Very, very quiet compared to what's typical, and that is going to change in a big way. So let's keep going with this. Let's move this towards this afternoon. And here it is. This is a lot more of this activity that we were talking about, but we can see these thunderstorms kind of flaring up with a southwest flow in that humidity and really just thunderstorm fuel moving in. And this is impacting states like the Dakotas, Minnesota, Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, Colorado, Wyoming, Montana. Here we're seeing thunderstorm activity throughout all of these states. And this is all, like I said, going to move further eastward, especially over just the next couple of days. So by the time we're reaching Saturday here on the 10th, we can see this is already moving into kind of a different area here, kind of the Mississippi River Valley a little bit there. We can also see areas across Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Louisiana as well, Arkansas, Missouri. All of these areas are seeing these thunderstorms here. Sorry if I sound a little bit unenthusiastic, by the way. This smoke is really, really messing with my throat here. It has been impactful in many different ways, and one of which has been for allergy and asthma sufferers. It just has not been good, or maybe even just people without those issues, it might be actually bothering them as well. I happen to suffer from asthma, so I can only talk from that perspective, but I think even people without those issues have been still struggling, which is really, really unfortunate. We do expect a shift in the smoke, by the way, which is really, really good news. By Sunday the 11th here, we can see thunderstorms flaring up further eastward here. Ohio Valley, Great Lakes, deeper south there, we can see a lot of these areas are seeing thunderstorms by this point. And this is good news, okay? So hopefully there's no dangerous weather, but the good news here is that we are seeing moisture, we are seeing rainfall, and in general, these areas are suffering from lack of rainfall. So to see rainfall shifting back into these areas is tremendous news, much needed, and overall just a really, really good thing. So we hope that no dangerous weather comes alongside this, but we do know that the rainfall is much needed and we're much behind the average. Now, we do get a stronger system here by the time we're reaching Monday. As you can see, bringing a pretty intense cold front underneath here. And this leads towards a lot of thunderstorm activity, especially here for the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic here. We would be watching for a lot of impacts because of this cold front. Not only the temperatures kind of cooling down for a little bit here, not only that, but also just that gradient between the humidity and the temperatures behind and in front of that cold front is going to lead towards some pretty intense thunderstorms here along this line. Again, that's going to be Monday afternoon primarily into Monday evening, and we see that happening for a lot of these different East Coast states. And by Tuesday, we actually see a much quieter pattern in the East, mostly down here, I'd say, is where a lot of that activity from that cold front is still stretching. We're seeing something like this, and also the Northeast is seeing some of this as well, as you can see, but it is offshore of the Mid-Atlantic and a lot of the Northeast for the most part by this point. The Rockies here, we're seeing a lot of showery activity still. Let's move this towards Wednesday afternoon on the 14th. And we can see here south of this low, we do see some activity still happening. Also the Southeast still dealing with a lot of thunderstorms here. Again, good news, and this is a big shift in things. So much welcomed, or at least it should be. Thursday the 15th here, we could see strong thunderstorms here. Missouri, Illinois, Kentucky, Tennessee, Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina here. All of these areas dealing with some thunderstorm activity, definitely leading towards some stronger impacts. Friday, the 16th here, we see another line of kind of a cold front here for the east, and this is leading towards more thunderstorms, very similar to the one we had prior. That is again on Friday, June 16th there. As we slide this ahead towards Saturday the 17th here, we see a lot quieter conditions. I mean, you look from coast to coast, and really, it's only a couple of minor areas you're able to point out with some precipitation. I'd say the most here is going to be along that Mississippi River area. And then we can see for the northeast some spotty showers maybe. But much, much quieter here on June 17th, Saturday. And even Sunday the 18th there, which will be Father's Day. We could see that there's a couple of thunderstorms flaring up for Virginia and North Carolina. Also for the deeper south, we see some of that going on. Maybe the Great Lakes as well here. And then a little bit out there for the west for the Cascades and the Rockies. But again, pretty spotty here and not too substantial with the major impacts whatsoever. Now, total rainfall here, this kind of tells us the full story of where we expect the most activity. And it is anticipated that this area here is going to be the area to watch for the most activity. Close second would be the Northeast here, where we see plenty. And then third place would kind of be the Rockies, Sierra Nevadas, into the plains here. So that kind of area there. That is the most active areas here in the upcoming pattern, as we see storms kind of moving across here, the eastern United States. In general, seeing a massive uptick, not only compared to what's average in the month of June, but also just compared to what we've been seeing the last few weeks. This is a lot. So definitely overall seeing a huge uptick in that activity as we've been talking. Total snowfall here, as you can see, we see anywhere from about 6 to 10 inches there for the Sierra Nevadas, a couple of inches throughout a couple of those mountaintops there in the Rockies, and that has continued to be the amounts we expect. Now, your temperature pattern, again, we're cool right now. We do see a brief warm up here for the day on Sunday, the 11th in the east, and then we see things cooling back down there for early in the week with that cold front. Again, those thunderstorms along that cold front boundary are going to be quite intense, and we see cold air following it. But we begin to see what I would call a classic negative PNA here out west. You can see very cool temperatures. This is going to encourage warmth overall to a lot of these areas. So we're going to see something like this taking place because of this factor back out west. We see that warmth continues. Basically, we see that building in from about the 17th, we'll call it, all the way through at least the 24th. So we're going to see a much more substantial warmer pattern. Cooler temperatures there, warmer temperatures up here. This is, for the most part, what we anticipate to continue through the long range. We're going to be watching this extremely closely here on the channel. So if you stay tuned with us, that is what we're going to be talking about primarily. Besides that, we're just going to be watching for our next tropical threat. We are in the time of year where we could start to see those happening back to back. And with some areas of flooding and storminess in the tropics, we do anticipate there to be a chance of some tropical development. So we will watch that closely. Be sure to subscribe. We do upload every single day, so you can do that. You can even hit the bell icon for daily notifications when we upload, so you never miss one. Also, be sure to like the video if you did enjoy it, leave a comment down below, and I will see you guys in the next video.